JBN, we keep you informed. East Kingston gun attack leaves man dead, teen injured. A teenage girl was injured and a man fatally shot during an attack by gunmen on Paradise Street in the East Kingston Police Division on Monday. According to reports, shortly after 12 p.m., 20-year-old Kahim Hermit and the teenager, who is the mother of his child, were walking when they were approached by gunmen. Both individuals ran. However, Hermit was chased and shot. The female sustained bullet wounds to her upper body and was admitted to hospital in serious condition. Hermit was pronounced dead on arrival. Security guard held with handcuffs and illegal gun. 58-year-old security guard David Williams was charged on Monday with illegal possession of firearm and ammunition, following the seizure of a firearm and several rounds of ammunition. The Old Harbour police are reporting that at about 7:30 p.m., Williams was seen acting in a manner which aroused their suspicion on West Street in Old Harbour. Williams was accosted and searched, during which a pair of handcuffs was found in his waistband. Further checks of a knapsack he was carrying revealed a Browning 9mm pistol and 8 9mm rounds of ammunition. Officers said David Williams is not a licensed firearm holder. He was subsequently arrested and charged. Businessman dies in Hanover crash. A 46-year-old Hanover businessman was killed on Monday morning in a road crash in Hopewell in the parish. The deceased has been identified as McNeil Carr, otherwise called Kid, a grocery store operator of Camp Road and Lookout addresses in Hopewell. According to reports, shortly after 9:30 a.m., Carr, who had earlier complained to family members of feeling ill, was driving a 2011 Toyota Noah minivan from Hopewell Square to Hopewell Mall when he lost control of the vehicle. The minivan crashed into a ditch and hit a utility pole. Carr sustained multiple injuries and died on the spot. The fire department and the police were summoned. The scene was processed and he was taken to the morgue for a post-mortem. Onlookers theorized that Carr may have been on his way to visit a doctor and he passed out while driving. Meanwhile, on Saturday, 2 other men perished in crashes in western Jamaica. 30-year-old Merrick Mullins, a farmer of Woodgrove District in Trelawney, died from injuries he received after the motorcycle he was driving crashed into a pile of yam stakes about 1 p.m. along the Lime Tree Main Road. The pillion also sustained injuries and is in serious condition in hospital. About 10:30 p.m., a man known only as Trigger was driving a motorcycle along the AJS Coombs Main Road in Montego Bay when he lost control, crashed into a pole, and was thrown from the seat. He died on the spot. Man caught with illegal gun charged. 32-year-old Jeff Palmer of Glenville Close, 9 miles Bullbane St. Andrew, was charged with illegal possession of firearm and ammunition on Sunday, August 23. Reports from the Elletstone Road Police are that about 1:40 p.m. on Thursday, August 20, a team conducted a snap raid of a shop when they saw Palmer and accosted him. The police said he was searched and the firearm found in his waistband. He was arrested and charged. A date is being arranged for him to appear in court, the police said. 2 women killed in hit-and-run accident in Spanish Town. 41-year-old Charlene Shand and a 51-year-old Maxine Banton, both of Spanish Town in St. Catherine, died as a result of injuries they sustained after being mowed down by a motorist on Monday. Reports from the Spanish Town police are that about 6:27 a.m., the driver of a 2010 black Mazda Tenza motor car was driving along the Spanish Town bypass in the vicinity of El Prado Verde when the vehicle drifted from the left side of the road to the right side, where both pedestrians were hit. The driver, whilst swerving back onto the roadway, collided with a pedal cyclist but did not stop, the police said. Shand, Banton and the cyclist were taken to hospital, where Shand and Banton succumbed to their injuries. The police said the motor car was later recovered in Torspen in the parish and was transported to the Spanish Town police station. The driver of the motor car has not yet been caught, the police reported. 100 cops in quarantine, 2 more have COVID-19. 2 cops attached to the St. Thomas Police Division are among the latest to have contracted the coronavirus, while approximately 100 members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF are in quarantine because of exposure to contacts of suspected or confirmed COVID-19. This brings to 8 the total number of police officers who have tested positive for the virus since the initial outbreak in Jamaica on March 10. Sergeant Patrero, who is also chairman of the Police Federation, is among the members now in quarantine. On Tuesday, he said he was doing fine. 2 members from St. Thomas have the virus, Rose said, refuting claims that as many as 4 members may have tested positive. Rose said he could not speak to information that the officers who contracted the virus may have had it transmitted from their wives who recently returned from overseas. The Police Federation chairman's quarantine is self-imposed precautionarily because of possible exposure to Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson, who tested positive for COVID-19. The Federation is aware of other police officers outside the St. Thomas Division who have confirmed cases of coronavirus. I can speak to a total of 8 since the initial outbreak. We are still doing the checks, said Rowe. A number of persons are still awaiting their results. The results are coming in. Officers are being taken care of by the government and the JCF medical branch. There is a medical services branch that is taking care of the medical checks and the medical needs of their members. The welfare department of the JCF is doing the necessary response, Rose said on Tuesday. Rose said that more than 100 members of the JCF are in quarantine island-wide. One of the recent confirmed cases in St. Thomas is a policeman assigned to the detention and courts unit in downtown Kingston. That office was closed on Monday and is scheduled for reopening on Thursday. Sanitization exercises are being undertaken. JLP and the PNP scaled down on physical campaigning. The leaders of the country's 2 major political parties, the Jamaica Labour Party JLP and the People's National Party PNP, have indicated that they will be scaling down traditional election campaign activities in response to the spike in COVID-19 cases across the island. There have been widespread concerns over the past week about a further surge in the island's growing infection rate following nomination day activities, which saw party supporters largely ignoring public safety guidelines. In fact, the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association yesterday urged the 2 political parties to desist from all physical campaigning with immediate effect, suggesting that it should be mandated through the Disaster Risk Management Act. As a country, we have made months of sacrifice and showed early signs of recovery from the effects of the initial wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. Jamaica and our people cannot afford a major lockdown. If our people are not disciplined enough to abide by the protocols, then our leaders must do what is right for the country, finding the balance between lives and livelihoods, the association said in a release. We noted the increasing difficulty in enforcing the protocols. Embarking on our usual style of old-school political campaigning will place additional pressure on our key frontline workers and infrastructure. On Sunday, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who is the JLP leader, has decided to suspend his traditional political campaigning activities to reduce the possibility of a further spread of the potentially deadly virus. He was speaking at a virtual press conference. He has indicated, based on what is happening with the COVID numbers and also the risk associated with campaigning, that as of today, he is suspending his own campaign activities, meaning the traditional approach to campaigning, and he certainly will be asking the country generally and its political organization to abide by that approach, Tufton said. What that would mean is that persons would be engaged in the administrative component of preparing for an election day activity, but the typical approach to campaigning, to meetings and motorcades and so on, he will not be engaged in those traditional activities, he explained. JLP campaign spokesperson Camilla Johnson-Smith also noted at a recent press conference that the party will closely monitor any spike in COVID-19 cases that may be linked to the September 3 general election campaigning. On Monday, the opposition PNP signaled that it was making changes to its own campaign in light of the spread of the virus. The party will be suspending its large motorcades and drive-thrus immediately to minimize the instance of any large gatherings, the PNP said in a statement. Its General Secretary Julian Robinson said, "These activities have proven to be difficult in the enforcement of social distancing and other COVID-19 protocols." He said the PNP's campaign teams would ramp up the distribution of voters' guides to electors and continue house-to-house engagement as part of its electioning in constituencies. The PNP also called on the Electoral Office of Jamaica (EOJ) to provide dedicated lines, seats and tents at voting clusters for senior citizens during the voting process, and to ensure that there is no undue deterrent to the elderly exercising their democratic right. The General Secretary called on PNP supporters and the citizens generally to support the COVID-19 protocols laid down for the election process. "The present increase in cases is serious, and we want everybody to remain well and be here for the September 3 general election. That can only be achieved by compliance with the health and campaigning protocols, as well as by following guidelines communicated to the public from time to time," Robinson stated. At the same time, he urged the EOJ to ensure that sanitizing stations are within the precincts of the polling facilities to encourage adherence to the guidelines. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.